It's here, Bubba Bat, man. I'm back with you again to tell you another story. You know, Minnie Pearl used to say that howdy on the Grand Ole Opry. Folks thought that was funny, so I thought I'd throw it in there. But it's good to get to talk to y'all today. And today's story is that, and Brother Jerry going to come out and make a parable out of it. But anyhow, it's a story about him, actually. It's not about me. But he said he likes to hear me tell it, even though when he told it to me, he said that I could tell it to you, and he's going to come out, and like I said, and make a parable out of it. But anyway, it's a story about him and his sweet, pretty wife. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I don't understand. I don't understand at all how Brother Jerry got this girl. Because, you know, I could understand somebody good-looking superhero like me getting a woman like that, but, you know, Brother Jerry, he's a good old guy, but he ain't the prettiest thing you ever seen and all like that. But he did. And his first picture that you can see is a picture of him and his sweetie. Her name's Rhonda. And They was dating in this picture. I imagine this is a picture took back before they even got married, back in 1979. And you know, this December the 1st, they will celebrate their 45th anniversary. That woman's a good woman to put up with that man that long. I'm telling you, she's a good one. And anyway, this story has to do with back when they first married. And they was living in this old house. It was Rhonda's great-grandfather's old house. And he fought in World War I. But this house was old. He had done passed on. But anyway, they was when they first got married, they didn't have no money. And they got this house from her side of the family to save having to pay rent. And this old house, it got them by for a while, but it was pretty old and bad shape. Matter of fact, it was so old, they found out something about it. One evening they was watching television, and Rhonda said, well, before it gets too late, you need to run out to the store and get us a loaf of bread and a jug of milk. Well, Brother Jerry, he went on out there to the store and got it and come back. Well, when he come in, before he sat down to watch TV, he just pitched a bag with that bread in it down there on the end of the couch, and I think he carried the milk on in to put it in the refrigerator. But for some reason he just pitched that sack of milk bread there on the couch. And they watched TV and got up and went on to bed. And that next morning when I got up, Brother Jerry started back through the house. And he looked down and he seen that bag and said, oh, foot, I forgot to put the bread up. And he reached to get that bag of bread, and when he picked it up, it was just light as a feather. There wasn't nothing in it. And it was nearly empty. And he opened up and looked down inside that bag, and all that was left in that bag was the plastic bag that the bread was in and the heel piece on the far end of it. They left the heel piece. The mice in that house cleaned that whole loaf of bread up in one night. That's how bad it was. And I ain't no lie, that's the truth. Well, they found out right quick they had a problem. And before you know it, they began to notice seeing the mice kind of scurrying around from under one door, going across the end of the room under another door, and here and there and everywhere. And even saw some running around on top of the stove one morning. But anyhow, this particular story has to do with them mice and the rats and mice that they had in that old house. Anyway, Brother Jerry was preaching at this little country church in his hometown and going to seminary, Bible college at the time. But anyway, it was on a Wednesday night when they had midweek Bible study, and Rhonda had fixed supper and they were sitting at the kitchen table. And anyway, Jerry's eating, and all of a sudden, Rhonda was in another room there. She had gone to do something else. She had already or hadn't eaten, I don't know. But anyway, she wasn't in there, but he heard something. And he got up from the table, and back behind him there was the kitchen cabinets. And he reached up and he undone the cabinet, and when he did, he saw 2 mice in there. They had some canned goods stacked up in that cabinet. And there's 2 mice inside that cabinet sitting upon them cans. And he just eased the door shut. And he went in there and had a gun cabinet in the hallway. He didn't have but about 3 guns at that time. And he had a .22 rifle. And this is it right here. Brother Jerry still got it. And he told me that I could use it for the story. This is the one he used. Just an old single shot .22. You just pull the lever and drop it down and put the shell in there. Well, he got this. And then he got some of these. Now these right here are .22 shot shells. Back then we called them rat shots because people just, shoot rats with it. And inside that little old cartridge right there, a little old bitty thing, that I've been told I thought there was about 125 little old, I don't know how many is in it, but that little old bitty fine, about like mustard seed, they just ain't nothing to them. There's a little old bitty tiny baby shot in there. And he was going to take it, load it in that rifle, and he took out 2 or 3 of them, put them in his hand, and when he come walking back in there, Rhonda said, "What are you doing with that gun?" And he said, "There's some mice up there in the cabinet behind the table, and I'm going to shoot them with a strap shot." You see, because Brother Jerry figured out that a long time ago he liked to hunt anything, like shoot critters. And matter of fact, he hunted for a while mice in this house. He set him up a stool just like a deer stand, and he'd catch them, try to shoot them running across the floor with a rifle in that old house. He enjoyed it. He liked hunting in between seasons and stuff. But anyway, Rhonda had a fit. She said, no, you're not shooting a gun off in this house. This is before he started the mice hunting with a rifle. Anyway, he said, "Yeah, it ain't gonna hurt." She said, "You'll tear something up?" He said, "No, we ain't gonna tear nothing up." Why, this little old shell, them little old pellets in there ain't big as nothing. They can't do no damage. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. Said it's just gonna kill the mice, and then I'll, carry them out and get rid of them. So he talked her into it, and he said, "Listen, I want you to help me do this. I'm going to walk up there and on the back side of the table and get ready with a rifle. And I want you to go around up there and reach and get that cabinet door and just ease it open." But he said, "Then hurry up and get on out of the way over in the other corner room where you won't be no near where I'm shooting. And I'm going to shoot them. But I need you to get everything ready for me." So Rhonda agreed to it, being a submissive wife that she is. And I'm having trouble with my cape. I've got to get my Alfred or somebody to fix that for me. Anyway, so he got ready. And Rhonda eased over there. She undone that door. And when she did, Jerry raised up with that rifle. Pow! Undone it. Throwed another one in there. Back to hammer again. And turned around and looked. And they wasn't... He shot 1, but there was 2 more. There's more than 2. There was 3 in there. And them other 2 were sitting up on a stack of cans. And he was quick, and he raised up, pow! He shot that. When he did run up there and slammed the door real quick. And then he went back to the gun cabinet, and he put the gun back up. And there was just a deafening silence for a few minutes there. And then all of a sudden you could hear a drip, drip, drip. Well, we walked up to the cabinet, Jerry did, and Rhonda was still standing back, but he eased that door open and he looked, and when he did, there was a fog of gray fur in the air. Just gray fur, just doing this away. filled the whole cabinet up. Couldn't hardly see in there from the mice fur in the air. And not only that, then he looked, and there was a mouse just blowed all the pieces up, blowed against the wall over here at first, and he shot. And then he looked up on the other side where the other two was, and there was a fur ring against the wall on the back side of the cabinet, about that big around, just mouse fur blowed into a ring. And then there was a mouse, it's kind of gross, but his entrails was hanging from the top of that can all the way down to the bottom of the cabinet. And then there was mice just blowed all the pieces in there. Not only that, but the canned goods, there was 3 or 4 cans was shot all to pieces with that little mustard seed shot and that rat shot. That thing had a whole lot more potency to it than Brother Jerry seemed to think. And man, it destroyed 2 or 3 cans of peas. There was a can of margarine that's sitting in there that hadn't been opened yet, and the shot went in it and just stirred up the margarine all even more. There was shot all in it, just in it, and you could see where it went whirled in it when it got inside that little tub. And not only that, but her grandpa, when he had built them cabinets, built them around a wall socket, and that socket was still inside the cabinet there, and the cabinet built around it, and that shot totally took out and destroyed that plug-in socket inside in the wall in that house. So that 2 little pop from that 22 shot shell did an unbelievable amount of damage. And Brother Jerry never forgot about that. And he knows that when he pulls out some rat shot, that he better kind of make sure of his surroundings and everything, because it's a whole lot more potent. Did a whole lot more damage than he thought. Well, anyway, that is the story that Brother Jerry wanted me to tell you about him and Rhonda. And he's going to come back here in just a minute, and he's going to make a parable out of that and share some things to you from the good Lord's Word. So I'm going to go get him. I'll be right back. Well, hello, everybody. Well, I was kind of back over there listening at Bubba Batman sharing that story from our early marriage years, and I've learned a lot in my marriage years. And, they say that you learn from your mistakes. Well, I have, and so I must be a pure genius, a scholar, because of so many mistakes I've made. If I've learned from all my mistakes, I'm the smartest man on the earth. But anyway, this story reminds me an awful lot about some things that the Bible had to say about the tongue in particular. That rat shot was a whole lot more potent and did a lot more damage than Brother Jerry ever dreamed that it would have done. I want to read to you some words from the writing of James. Some things he had to say about our tongues. He said, we all stumble. This is from James chapter 3, beginning in verse 2, reading through verse 12. He said, we all stumble in many ways. Anyone who's never at fault in what they say is perfect, able to keep their whole body in check. When we put bits in the horses' mouths to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Or take ships as an example. Although they're large and are driven by strong winds, they're steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants it to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of man's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It's a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With the tongue we praise our Lord the Father, and with it we curse human beings who've been made in God's image. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, James says, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. You know, Prophet Hosea made a statement in chapter 8 and verse 7. He said, you know, sometimes we sow to the wind, but we reap the whirlwind. And that's the way words are. Sometimes we get so quick to speak. You know, James went on to say, be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. But sometimes we'll spout off something and, man, a fire starts we can't put out, and we can't ever take it back, can't ever regain. Jesus taught an important principle in Matthew chapter 12, verses 36 and 37. There he'd been accused of doing miracles and casting out demons by the power of the devil himself. And Jesus warned them. He said, you know, every idle word, he said in those scriptures, will give account in the day of judgment. By our words we'll be acquitted. By our words we'll be condemned. So we need to be careful. Many people have said things, left scars and wounds that they can't ever take back. The harm's done. They'll never be forgotten. They can be forgiven, but the pain of those words still lingers. So let's be careful to do what the Apostle Paul said in Colossians 4, verse 6. He said, let your speech be full of grace, seasoned with salt, that you may be able to know how to answer those that you talk with. Anyway, another parable of Bubba Batman, even though it was about me. But I hope that it'll give us some words of advice to be careful to watch what we say and how we say it. Because our tongue is a powerful thing. I pray God's richest blessings be on you. Until next time, this is Brother Jerry on behalf of Bubba Batman. Have a wonderful, blessed day.